Okay, it says we're live on Zoom. Let's just see if we are live on YouTube. Are we? Yes, we are. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to, well, actually, we're doing this live on Sassy Seer Sheila today because I haven't been done a live over here in just a little bit. I've been doing them mostly on New Light Streaming Love. If you are not subscribed to both channels, I highly recommend that you do so because I'm going to be alternating back and forth. Now, this morning, I'm only going to pull one card from the Rumi deck because I have something else that I want to share. I have been quite busy over the last few days. I haven't done any morning mojos, mostly because I've been, going to doctor's appointments with my housemate Lisa Flamino Rush. As you know, as I've shared, she's been in and out of the hospital as part of her sacred mission that she chose, uh, to undertake. And boy, oh boy, has it been a fast moving energy for me since she was in the hospital and since she's been home, which has been just a little over a week. While she was in the hospital, I came across an author, and I've shared this before, Jason Gray. And his work, I just knew I was to record in a huge way. And he was kind enough to say, absolutely, I had his permission. Well, he asked me last night how I felt about posting the videos in the Ancient Hermetics group, which I'm happy to do. But I wasn't quite sure exactly what he was asking me to do or how he was asking me to do it. And so he decided to post, um, he decided to go ahead and do a post um, in the group. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see. There we go. Um, and and include one of the videos that I had done and asked me to go and read it. Well, first of all, it caused me to cry. So I'm going to share it with you because I have something else that I just recorded that I want to point to because here is a very interesting synchronicity. Okay. Because what Jason wrote and how he wrote it. And Jason, boy, do I hope you're listening. And if you're not, I will send you a link to this video after the fact because I will be sharing it on both channels. I am recording this. This is what he wrote. He wrote, "A voice for the flame. How my words found their echo," by Jason Gray. For the longest time, I envisioned my writings brought to life in sound, not just read, but felt, spoken with the kind of reverence and gravity that only a voice like Morgan Freeman could deliver. I could hear it in my head, my words, his voice, rolling across screens, stirring something deep. But life, in its unique grace, had other plans. About a week ago, while I was once again thinking about this possibility, my phone pinged. I checked the message. It was from a woman named Sheila Corona. Yeah, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm about to cry, so bear with me. She told me she had been reading my work and asked if she could have permission to record my writings into audio format for her YouTube channel. Not a studio, not a Hollywood voice, not a scripted deal, just a soul moved to speak truth. Without hesitation, I gave her my full blessing. Then I listened. The first piece she recorded hit me so deeply, I nearly fell to the floor. Her voice didn't just read the words, it carried them. It didn't just echo my flame, it embodied it. Well, I have said in other, in some of the recordings that I've done, his work is doing something in here. So very interesting that he would catch that and say that, right? So her voice didn't just read the words, it carried them. It didn't just echo my flame, it embodied it. It was then I realized I didn't need Morgan Freedom, I needed Sheila. What matters is not fame, it is frequency. Sheila's voice holds something rare, something sacred. It moves with presence. It remembers. It feels. Since that first moment, Sheila has recorded numerous pieces of my writing. Each one feels like a ceremony. Each one lands deeper than the last. She will be continuing to give voice to the fire as we move forward together. You can find her recordings of my writing in the videos tab of her YouTube channel, which actually I've made a playlist as well called The Works of Author Jason Gray. I hope you take the time to listen, to feel them, to let them move through you. Some things were written to be read, but some were written to be heard. Sheila, I see you. I thank you. You were always the voice I didn't know I was waiting for, which I'm very grateful for him seeing me, right? And recognizing what I have just recently begun to accept about my voice, right? I now know with all of me, each of us act as translator for others who we might never know. How I won't even pretend to know. This is just a suspicion of mine, right? But now I also want to share with you something else that has taken place. And this would be something that Lisa actually found once she was released from the hospital. There is a fellow on X, B at Quantum Tumblr, and I just recorded this piece. So I highly recommend that once I get that uploaded, that you go there and take a listen to that video or go to X. It's freely available on B at Quantum Tumblr. And I'd like to read that to you now. What it is, I'm not going to read the whole thing because I've already recorded it, but I'm going to read. This is a decoding of blood types. My blood type is B positive. Each one of these blood types apparently holds specific resonance. My blood type is called the flame key. Okay, what? Adaptive, creative, kinetic. Strong gut field resonance, intuition through the body. Frequency modulator shifts groups by presence alone. Emotional alchemists, often misunderstood. Signal, the traveler's fire. Okay, what? Okay, so that I reread that again this morning and I was like, after I got that information from Jason. These are things you can't unsee. Once you see things like this, you cannot unsee them. These are two completely separate beings who are not aware of each other, who don't know me from any sort of level. How no one knows my blood type but me. And the truth of it is, like I said in that recording, I have a friend who told me once that it's just not a party without you. You have to come to the party. Well, that speaks to shifts by very presence, shifts groups by very presence. I don't know. There's a lot here, and I'm sharing it because I'm a little gobsmacked by the whole thing. And because I have somewhere I have to go today, I'm pulling one card. It's from the uh Rumi Oracle because I haven't done that in a while. And I'm sorry, but I can't believe the card that came out. Dance of the Divine Feminine. Card number 42, which is a 6 numerologically. The 6 for me is all about balance, love, harmony. And it was always my favorite number growing up as a kid. If a tree could move from one place to another, it would not suffer the pain of the saw or the oppressive wounds. If the sun and moon stood still like the rocks, they could not offer brilliance. How bitter the taste of water would be if the river stopped its flow, remaining still like seawater. When the seawater rises to become a cloud, it loses its bitterness and pours the rain of sweetness. I have given you only a few examples. You can figure out the rest. Break away from the self and enter the kingdom of love. Rumi. And all of a sudden, I am so dizzy, I can't even hardly take it. Wow. Because I was also being shown, for me, this is all about the constant moving forward, is what I'm getting from his words here. And how it's important to not be in resistance to that moving forward. There's something there for me personally about moving forever towards the unknown, right? Well, I've recently realized and finally grasped that whether I knew it or not, believed it or not, understood it or not, we can never truly know everything. And all of what I think I know is supposition and programming and conditioning mostly, right? The ego portion of me, anyway. How can your feet bear to be still when the music is so lush and inviting? How can you hold yourself back from the tide of love when the horizon looms so vast and exciting? How can you not arch your back and respond with ecstasy to the lover's touch, saying in absolute submission, yes, more? You were made to move and grow, to love and flow. Even mountains change. Surrender the stodgy ways of the mind and become willing to dance to the great orchestrations of love. You may feel unsettled, beloved, as though the ground beneath you is not so solid. Yeah, buddy. You may touch it to see, is it moving? Of course, it is hurling through the skies, spinning, tilted on its axis. It's amazing you aren't passed out on the floor in utter dizziness. Well, as I said before, I'm a little dizzy right now. Yet you stand there, imagining you have a choice of not moving. What funny foolishness. Let us laugh about it together. How can you even imagine it? Only through some misplaced fear. It is such a small craziness, really. You can cast it off, that small crazy fear. Let it return to the Earth Mother to become fertilizer for the far grander and more exciting insanity of divine love instead. Give up that tiny insanity in favor of the greater craziness of love. You cannot be unmoved by it. The rhythm of life will get you shaking your hips eventually. How could you not become entranced by the gleaming dance floor, shimmering with possibility and invitation? This oracle comes to you with guidance. Your life may feel as though it is being tipped upside down. Perhaps you feel as though the great beloved, in a feisty mood, has grabbed your ankles, is holding you upside down and shaking you wildly until your skirt is over your head or the pockets of your pants become freed of their contents. Keys and wallet dropping to the floor in disarray. Your hair is messy, your bottom is in the air, and your sense of orientation is nowhere to be found. Blood is rushing to your head, and goodness knows you just want to be put down, to have a moment to come to your senses. So the beloved will give you that gift, but don't imagine it will last for too long. The great beloved esteems you capable of so much more than being sure footed and sensible. You are capable of more whirling and stumbling whilst inspired by the music of the spheres. If you just accept the great invitation to dance, there won't be so much roughhousing going on. It won't be needed because your hair will already be in a mess. Your blood will already be pumping, and you'll be sweating, laughing, smiling, and dancing. The great beloved will be alive in you, which is all that grand seducer ever wanted in the first place, even with all the jokes and horseplay. Disarrayed and disheveled by the divine beloved, you are able to break out of a too ordinary world. You will explore the delightful consequences of rocked boats and upset apple carts being swept away by love as you dare to dream bolder and wilder dreams for yourself and the world. There is bigger magic for you to weave this lifetime. Prosaic priorities inherited from the world are stuff and nonsense. It is the priorities of the heart that matter to you. And that is true for me at this juncture. There was a time in my life when those prosaic things were way more important, like trying to fit into the corporate world. Only I found out that, well, actually, I didn't fit into the corporate world. I was never happy there. And I now understand the why of that. If you are ever to right yourself whilst the beloved is tipping you upside down like a soaring bird in most impressive aerial dynamics, it will be through establishing right priorities, priorities of your own heart. What I hear here for me is move towards that which brings you the highest joy in each moment. As you know, that's how I always sign off. So ask your heart what matters most and attend to that. Soon you'll be able to find your orientation, even if everything you have once held on to appears to be shimmering and insubstantial, a mere dance of light rather than solid ground. This will become so easy for you no matter what shifts and changes take place around you. Your center will remain strong. This is what the beloved wants for you. Such peace and relief it shall bring to you. But perhaps some shaking about is required first, in case you are reluctant to give up some mainstays, unaware of how, whoops, okay, wait a minute, how much they drain life away from your heart center. This oracle brings you this message also. There is something you are holding on to, a person, a place, a thing, a belief, a vision, and you need to let it go because it wants to grow. It may grow and change into something utterly different, or it may grow into exactly what you are imagining. Whichever outcome, growth is happening, and you'll find you enjoy the way much more with greater flow and support and less bashing of your head against the proverbial brick wall if you can let it happen. Well, I know there are some things that I've held on to that I can see very clearly now I that have to be let loose of. Don't worry if it seems as though your world is coming to an end or you are losing something you once loved. This is just the shaking about of the great beloved to lead you into a deeper, sweeter dance of divine being and becoming. Put your focus into your heart and realize you are more ready than you think. Now shake those hips, stamp those feet, close your eyes and clap your hands. That's better already. Wow. Well, I would say, like I said, there's something very interesting happening with me through all of this in this last week and a half. Portions of me that are coming forward that I've never seen before. I don't recognize on any sort of level. But that's okay too, because I've opened myself to being shown everything about me, and I've actually asked for it. So very interesting. Well, that's it for now. I hope if you have not already seen or listened to any of Jason's writings, as I said, and he may not be a translator for you, so please don't listen and uh, say, well, gosh, that's not doing anything for me. What's wrong with me? Because that happens sometimes with folks. But the truth of it is that I really feel with all of me that we all have translators. And it just so happens Jason is a translator for me personally. Lisa has been a translator for me personally. I know now that I am translator for some others, right? You, even though you don't think you would be, you are translator for some. I would be willing to bet everybody has this. I'm probably not explaining that properly. But in terms of consciousness, most specifically concepts of about consciousness, the psyche, at least for me, once it's ready, the translator appears, right? You can hear things and you think you understand it, but then you hear something else, and that translator just it seats. I don't know what that is. I don't know why that is, but that's the way it feels to me. So I hope that you will continue to move towards that which brings you the highest joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It truly is just a matter of your own perspective and your perception of that perspective. And if it doesn't feel very joyous, give yourself a few moments, step back, see if you can look at whatever the situation is from a different perspective and find a higher joy or another way to approach whatever it is that would bring you higher joy. Until we meet again, my friends, be well.